Hey Google, are you subscribed to me?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help with that, but my team's helping me learn.
Oh, maybe that team will subscribe to me on this channel through this useless gadget that I'm gonna review right now. Guys, this is Google Home, a device that came personally, I think, out of nowhere because we don't have Alexa in Australia or New Zealand, and Alexa is really leading the way in home automation and home assistance. But Google had to get on the game. They've already got Google now inside phones and other devices, but they needed a standalone little speaker box that is called Google Home. Now, Google Home itself is, it's an ecosystem. There's a few things you need to get to really make good use of it. And I'm going to talk about the things that I can only make use of with just the box, and obviously what I can do with if I have a lot more money and spend a lot more money on gadgets that connect to it. First of all, what can you do apart from this box itself? Well, you can get lights that are Bluetooth connected or Wi-Fi connected that connect to your network in the home, and you can tell Google here to dim the lights, like in the adverts. Or you can automate your heating, your heat pump or your aircon, where if that's connected to the Wi-Fi, this can speak to it. It has lots of brands out in the world that are basically working with Google, and there's a lot of partners, and I know Google is really pushing that partnership with other companies to bring this ecosystem to be actually fulfilling for a lot of people out there. At the moment, I feel like it's a very small availability here in Australia. I think not many people even have this in Australia. It went on sale like a month or two ago. It's not necessarily something a lot of people will be looking into. Home automation itself hasn't really taken off in the middle class because of its, expensiveness. This could really bring it down to that middle class where you can potentially buy a light bulb that's just Wi-Fi connected, put it in your home already. It doesn't have to be interconnected in the cabling itself, and you can have lights that dim on command. But without that, without all those extras, without lighting, aircon that's interconnected, that's quite expensive. What is this by itself? Well, it is just a smart speaker. It is just a smart Bluetooth speaker that doesn't have Bluetooth and you can't play music to it. It's just a little bit of fun, and I think it's a bit of a useless gadget, but I'll share with you how I use it and how I found it useful, just to give it that benefit of the doubt, because at the end of the day, people are buying this and they're using it for something, right? I'll tell you what I use it for. I walk in the house, I say, hey Google, play Triple J.
Sure, here's ABC Triple J on TuneIn.
Stop that. Hey Google, stop that. So it connects to something called TuneIn. You can have any radio station out there. It will go to your news radio stations. It will go to anything there. And when I walk in the house, I like to listen to some music. Why not? I'm just getting unpacked. Maybe might have to clean the kitchen, do a bit of general tidying up or whatever. Chuck the music on. And you know what? I have to say, it's nice. It is absolutely nice than taking my phone out, going connect to Bluetooth speaker, waiting for it to connect, and then saying I'll play Triple J, then having to put my phone down, having to remember that I can't just walk around with it because Bluetooth has a certain range. It is actually quite cool to walk in, say a radio station, and it'll play some music. Same thing with Spotify, YouTube Music, and all sorts of other little apps it can run through here. So I can say, play some YouTube music because you get 6 months of subscription of YouTube Red, which is pretty cool. I mean, you're spending $150 on a device like this. They're giving you 6 months worth of YouTube Red. If you calculate it, maybe that's $60. So you're kind of getting this only for $60 if you want to play it that way. At the end of the day, though, if you take that out as just a nice music box that you can tell what songs to play, the problems kind of begin when you have maybe an accent. I have a little bit of accent sometimes. I get ahead of myself and I say things or words differently. And that happens quite a lot with this. I say it in a certain way, it doesn't understand me, it doesn't quite know what I want. Sometimes it picks a song that I wasn't really talking about. But that's all expected with something like this, an assistant that works on voice. That's really expected. I'm gonna do a review of Bixby, but I'm gonna let you guys know right now, Bixby for Australians is absolutely horrendous. It's terrible. it barely understands what I'm saying, and I think I've got a bit of an American accent sometimes, but we'll talk about that in another video. Google Home. The next thing I use it for when I come home, or rather leave home, is asking if the traffic to work is, heavy, or do I need to take another route? It lets me know that State Route 1 is still the best route to take to work. It lets me know if I need to take another route, and that's great. It's connected to my account on my Google, which knows that at a certain time I'm going to work, and that's the address of work, and it'll let me know. I like that. In the morning, I ask it, hey Google, what's the traffic like to work?
On your way to work, traffic is light as usual. It is 29 minutes by car.
Easy. And sometimes it will say that I need to take a different route because of maybe an accident or very heavy traffic, and another route is much shorter. So that is very useful. It's something that you might get your phone out and check really quickly, but while you're doing something else, maybe having breakfast, you can ask it and it will give you a response. Now, I don't have a big house or anything, but I do find it cool that I can talk to this from quite far away, as long as my voice carries and is rather loud. So maybe sometimes in the morning, if I shout a little bit, it might not understand me, so I have to be very clear in my enunciation towards this to really get through the question that I'm asking. In the adverts, you may have seen the questions being asked of like, what's a kilogram in pounds? What's an inch in a centimeter? What noise does a kookaburra make? That's a very Australian advert. These sort of things are maybe you show once at a party. You say, hey Google, what does a kookaburra sound like?
A kookaburra sounds like this.
But that really is it. I mean, you can ask it all sorts of other questions. In fact, I had a bit of fun with my dog. I made it keep meowing, making cat noises. Dog got interested, but then kind of bored, the same way I got bored of it. At the end of the day, if you don't have a large ecosystem surrounding this, it has very, very limited use. And you gotta think to yourself, are you gonna pay $150 to $180 for it to play radio from your voice, tell you what the traffic is like, tell you what the weather is like? Are these sorts of information worth that much money? Well, let's look at the hardware. At the end of the day, this is pretty much a speaker, and the speaker itself is actually quite powerful, and I have to say, the music from it sounds quite nice, quite comparable to the Wonderboom from UE ears. So it's not bad as just a speaker. Like, I mean, think about it that way. If you're buying a Bluetooth speaker, let's say obviously it has other features like being waterproof, connecting to other devices, having multiple speakers, comparably, it's actually quite cheap as just a music player in your house. And in the adverts they say get 3 or 4 for every room, so you can talk to Google everywhere in the house. But there are other things you have to consider, and this might, let's put our tinfoil hats on here. At the end of the day, you are sending your voice across the internet to Google servers where it reads it, compiles it, and understands what you're saying, and sends back the data. At the end of the day, this is a live microphone that's always listening, and right now, my voice is carrying on through to Google servers, looking for that keyword of me saying okay, and then followed by Google. Okay, it has to catch those two at once. I guess my tinfoil hat is a little bit tingling in that sense. At the end of the day, it is in your living room. You might be having private conversations, and you could feel like somebody is listening to you. But if we just pop the hat off, until it hears, okay Google, it probably doesn't really care.
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help.
But on the other hand, if you ever go to your Google account, there is a way to see what's been recorded through your actual Google speaking. And in fact, it thinks it catches that word, that keyword that needs to activate, and it'll record about 10 to 15 seconds of voices, usually in your pocket maybe, or somewhere in the lounge, and you can clearly make out what you are saying. That's a concern. All this stuff is being recorded held on your account. Sure, if you've got a password and it's protected with maybe two-way authentication, nobody can get to it. But at the end of the day, it's still being recorded. So, you know, we live in a world where privacy is getting very, very tight. So do you want to have a microphone in your living room? Well, if you want to listen to some music without having to press any buttons, you can. Now, let's finish off if this is actually worth the money, if it's useful, and what's in store for the future. Well, first of all, is it useful? Look, I think maybe it is. Maybe as a music player, it is actually super fun. It connects to all your Google apps and you can tell it to play all sorts of songs or do all sorts of neat little things. There's a few bits and pieces that I think could be better. I mean, voice recognition is something that's always improving, so future-wise, it's just gonna get better. But is it worth the money? Well, I don't think so. It is a gadget, a luxurious gadget that you might not really make good use of. And at $180, there's probably better things that you could do with it, and with that money, of course. And I don't know, is this really what you need in your life? Do you need it? I would say I don't need it. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be none the wiser. But because I tested it out, I now have convinced myself that I don't need it. And that's what you gotta say to yourself. Are you gonna convince yourself by buying it and then selling it on Gumtree? Well, that's up to you. I say it's a fun little gadget that costs a little bit, but like I said, I bought it off Kogan. I don't even have the original cable because this is a UK version of it, and I had a $30 voucher for it, so I didn't hurt that much. But guys, I hope my experience has given you a little bit of information about it. The last few things I want to say is about the actual device itself. It's nice. It looks quite nice. Looks like a bit of an error refresher. In fact, if I unplug it from the plug on the bottom, you can actually take this off and exchange it for other ones, and you know, different colors, matching your, well, matching anything you have in the house, wherever you place it. And the speakers here, they actually look quite good. Look, 3 large speakers. There is a port here on the back for, basically, if you have any problems, you can do some servicing on it. But other than that, I mean, it's just really a big plastic thing. There's a button on the back to mute it, so, you know, at the end of the day, if you ever just want to okay, I'm having a private conversation with somebody, I can press and mute it, and it should stop listening. And look, I think it's a nice accessory to somebody who's already into technology like myself. It's definitely fun for the first 20 minutes. After that, you end up just using it for listening to music, listening to the radio. Finally, I just want to mention that one of the cool things about this, comparably to things like Alexa, is actually this is a touch sensitive area where you can lower and put the volume up. So and actually, instead of speaking and saying, okay, Google, you can just tap it and it will actually speak. So right now it's loading, and I know you can't see that color, but I'll get some videos of it so you can see it better. As you can see, I'm sort of moving this bit around. Volume going up and down. Guys, thank you very much for watching of my review of the Google Home. I hope you appreciated my views on it, and I hope it might save you a little bit of money. But I think if you want to have a little bit of fun, and money is not necessarily an issue, go ahead and get it. But avoid it, because I don't think this is the best iteration of what Google can do. I think in the future there will be another better product that will be a lot more interesting. I mean, at the moment, if you don't have the whole Google Cast business, you can't really even use the music part of or videos to cast to your TV. And there's already smart TVs that have their own inbuilt apps. So how does this, you know, you have to have a dumb TV for a Google Cast so you can use this? This just doesn't make sense. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about Google Home. Let me know if you want one. You know, I mean, if you want, give me a reason why. If you hate it, if you bought it and it's useless, it's sitting there, nobody ever speaks to it, let me know. And hopefully I'll be smiling because I have definitely touched on the right points when making this video. Guys, thank you very much, and I'll catch you in another one.